Yat param brahma sarvatma vishwasyayatanam mahat sukshmat sukshmataram nityam tattvameva tvameva tat. Yat param brahma sarvatma vishwasyayatanam mahat sukshmat sukshmataram nityam tattvameva tvameva tat. That which is the supreme Brahman, yat param Brahma, the supreme Brahman, sarvatma, it is the self in all. Vishwasya ayatanam mahat, it's the great support of the universe. Mahat is great, ayatanam means the support of Vishwasya. Sukshmat sukshmataram, subtler than the subtle. Whatever you think is subtle, it is subtler than that. Clean bold is challenging you. There's nothing greater than this. There's nothing subtler than this. Nityam, eternal. Tattvameva, tattvameva tat. He repeats the word twice. That alone thou art. That alone thou art. Tattvamasi. Tattvamasi. That which is the supreme Brahman, Param Brahma, supreme. It supports the universe, supporter of the universe. The universe constitutes of the Panchabhutas, the five elements, space, air, fire, water, earth. It is that which supports the five elements. It is the supreme Brahman. The supreme Brahman that you experience in the world is described as something is time, space, causation. Time is eternal. Space is all pervading. Causation is infinite. So time, space, causation is the reflection of Brahman in the world. Eternal. Time is eternal. Space is all pervading. Causation infinite. The characteristics of Brahman you see in the world. Param Brahma, supreme. So you can attribute the qualities of eternity, which he spells it out here. All pervasiveness, which he also spells it out. Infinity. So it is the self in all. It is the substratum, the self, the Brahman is there to be seen. Where do you see it? It is there in everything. It is there in every being. The self is there in the microcosm. The self is there in the macrocosm. But the problem is not the existence of Brahman. It's all well said. Yat param brahma sarvatma vishwasyayatanam mahat sukshmat sukshmataram nityam. The problem is not the 3/4 of the verse. The problem is the last quarter of the mantra. Tattvameva tvameva tat. That is the problem. So the problem is not the existence of Brahman. The problem is not the grandeur of Brahman. The problem is not Brahman. The problem is the lack of assertiveness to Brahman. You and I are not able to assert the self. If you and I are able to assert the self, there's no problem. We're all, in some way or the other, we all are caught up in the worldly transactions. You can be in the best part of the world or the worst part of the world. In fact, the problem is if your life is in the best part of the world, your blockage is greater. You are in the worst part of the world, chances are you will be detached to the world. It is easier to be detached to pain than to be detached to joy and happiness. So if somebody is going through pain and challenge, God is giving you an opportunity to be detached to it, to the world, to the experience. Oh, Guruji, everything is going so beautiful. Everything is so fine. There's so much of joy, happiness. Everything is, I touch wood, I tell you, it is picture perfect. God has been very kind to me. You are very attached. You're bound to the world. Inject some problems, inject some challenges, you will start developing a little vairagya to the world. Arey yaar, what is this life, man? Why am I going through all this? So God doesn't know anybody else but me all the time. He's dishing out problems to me only. Why is life like this? You start questioning the very passage of life. You will start questioning the very purpose of life. How should I deal with life? All of this doesn't come when joyful moments are there. So, irrespective of the experiences, all of us, in some way or the other, you got to accept this fundamental fact that we all are bound, we all are caught up in the world. It's only a question of relativity. We all are differing in degree. None of us are differing in kind. And I put myself in the category. And I'm not sitting apart, standing apart and saying, all you fellows are attached, all you fellows are bound. I'm not saying that. It's arrogance for me to say that. Only a Mahatma can say that. Only a man who has attained that state of Paramam Brahma, the Supreme Brahman, can say that. So, in relativity, it is the world that blocks your vision of the self. And what is the world? The world that you have charted out for yourself. You have carved a world. You have created a world out of your own efforts. And that very world is blocking your vision of the self. So it is not the existence in the grandeur of Brahman. It is a lack of assertiveness of that Brahman. So you're not able to assert the truth. You're not able to realize the truth because you're not able to assert it. And the whole sadhana of a spiritual seeker is the assertiveness. And in the process, if you have to assert something, you must learn to negate something. So the process of negation and assertion are quintessential elements of spiritual sadhana. Unless and until you negate the lower, then and then only you'll be able to assert the higher. And as you keep asserting the higher, the lower gets automatically negated. So this process of assertion and negation. Now, in the context, it's important we take a note of the great Mahavakyas, the 4 Mahavakyas we have often mentioned, referred. These few mantras talk about it. So take a note of it. The 4 Mahavakyas or the 4 aphorisms. The 4 aphorisms. Mahavakyas means great statements, the profound statements. In fact, these 4 statements is the very origin of Vedanta. The entire Vedanta, the Upanishads, the Vedas themselves are explanatory textbooks of these great aphorisms. So the first aphorism is known as Pragyanam Brahma. Pragyanam Brahma means consciousness is Brahman. That pure consciousness which pervades everywhere, that is the truth, that is the reality, that is Brahman. That is, nothing else is. I see nobody is listening to me. So I shall keep quiet for a minute. That is known as Lakshana Vakya. Lakshana Vakya means a statement of fact. You agree or not, it's a matter of fact, man. Brahman is all. Brahman is everything. So this is the highest truth. Then comes the statement of advice. The Guru is giving a direct advice known as Upadesha Vakya. Upadesha Vakyam is Tat Tvam Asi. He is saying, you are that consciousness. Tat Tvameva Tvameva Tat. That is exactly the mantra is talking about. You are that very Brahman. You are that very reality. You are that consciousness which he has established in the first Mahavakya. I am that Brahman, you are that Brahman, nothing short of it. And if you believe anything other than that, it is your own ignorance. If you believe yourself to be vulnerable to what the world throws at you and you suffer the consequences of your own creation, remember it is your own creation. It is not, you are nothing short of Brahman, and nothing can affect Brahman. So if you are asserting yourself to be the truth, you will not be affected by the world. So the Guru gives that advice, Upadesha. Then if you may say, sir, no Guru has ever given me this advice to me. Huh? If Guru is supposed to give Upadesha advice, my Guru has not given this advice to me. Because you are not ready for it or you have not sought it. That's simple as that. Advice is never given. It's always taken. Isn't it? You can be in his presence, you can be with him, but if you're not seeking the truth, he will not give it. Why would he waste his time? And the maryada irukano, jnananku. Maryada is, knowledge is never given. So if the student is ready, the Guru gives the advice. And then comes the third statement, Ayam Atma Brahma. This Atman is that Brahman. So you are going through the individual abhyasa, is known as the statement of practice. This is the abhyasa the student has to do, having got the direction from the Guru. You keep asserting the truth that this individual self is that supreme consciousness. Now what are we doing? Now, based on this statement, the statement is this Atman, this individual self is that supreme consciousness. Now, if this were to be the statement of abhyasa, practice, contrast to that, what is it today? What is it we are doing now? What are we asserting? Today, we are constantly asserting ourselves to Are you all with me? What are you asserting yourselves to today? Amitabh, when you got up this morning, have you ever thought that, or did you think that you are that Brahman? Ayam Atma Brahma. Yesterday, did you get a chance of asserting this Brahman? When you got up, what's the first thing that you thought?
Hariom Guruji. Yeah, I think you're right. It's not about asserting Brahman, but more maybe caught up by the physical body, the here and the now, the material.
So the moment you get up, you look at yourself, you say, I am Amita. You will say, oh, I am a mother, I am a wife, I am a grandmother, I am so and so. Then you will know, oh, I am in Malaysia now. I am this, I am that. I am the waker. When you, as the day starts progressing, you keep asserting, you keep identifying, you keep asserting yourself to so many things, from the morning to the first ray of you being conscious of, till the last moment where you're not conscious of, because you have left the waking hemisphere and entered the dream hemisphere. In all your realms of experience where you are conscious of asserting, we are constantly asserting to be the non-self.
Mm.
That's the tragedy of it. As a seeker, I would feel so dejected if I am not able to assert this statement, what the text is strongly saying. In fact, he doesn't say it once. In the same mantra, he repeats it twice. Just to ensure, in case you have any doubt about it and you might dismiss it. No, no, no. Please don't dismiss it. This is the truth. Keep asserting it. Now, in contrast to what they are saying and where I stand, you see the disparity. You see where I stand and where is it. Now, is it not possible for us to inject this thought of the self through the course of your day's activities? Is it not possible? Is it theoretically possible, first and foremost?
Absolutely, sir. Yes.
Very much possible, isn't it? So the abhyasa, the practice is to inject this thought that I am not. When he says I am Atma Brahma, what does it mean? I am not the body, mind, and intellect. I am not this limited self. I am that consciousness. You are negating and asserting at the same time. Neti, I am not this assemblage of elements. Tad Brahma Nishkalamaham Nachabhota Sangaha. Familiar with this phrase in the Atma Bodha. Tad Brahma Nishkalamaham Nachabhota Sangha. I am not this assemblage of elements, he says. I am that Brahma, I am that self. Now, going through the multifold experiences which keep we encountering, how is it possible? I'm still on the abhyasa. While we go through this multifold experiences in our life, how is it possible? Or when is it, not how, when is it possible for me to inject? When and how, you can say. When and how is it possible to inject this thought of Brahman? Whatever be your experiences, doesn't matter the nature of your experience. It could be the best of it, it could be the worst of it. The challenge for you is, the abhyasa for you is, inject the thought of the self during the course of your experience. That is the abhyasa. So when you do that, you're rejecting what you're going through and you're asserting the self. I am not this. Like if I am going through this satsang, the accent can be on the individual who is performing this role. So I say, I am not this. I am the self. In the initial stage, it can be just a mere statement. It can be a mere chant. You mechanically do that and then you start relating to it. But at least even to suspect that I am not this and I am that itself is an injection of a thought. When I'm going through deep grief and great pain, great challenge, to say, I am not this who is subjected to this, I am the self. That itself is assertion and negation, isn't it? While you're going through, not later on, while you're going through experience, to say, I am not this, I am that. Now the question is, when is it and how is it you can inject this thought. If you don't know how you can do this, it's just a mere matter of, again, a mere statement of fact or advice. There's no practice. You will not get the mechanics of how to do it. So the question is, how and when can you inject this into your life? What's that quality that will facilitate this third Mahavakya? You able to think along with me, Amitama?
So, may I share something?
Yes, please.
This was really a test for me in the last couple of days, couple of weeks. As some of you know, I lost my mother just 10 days ago, 12 days ago. And just after that, I got news of my younger sister having to remove her. She had to go for, she had breast cancer, and she just went through the operation yesterday. So, yeah, it was one after the other, you know.
Very sorry to hear. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that, sir. But I think, and I shared with some of us in the group that no matter how much we learn this knowledge, when it's crunch time, I don't know whether we are completely prepared, right? Because we do go back to thinking of that small self, right? About the limited body, the losing of somebody and all of that. But I also say by that same breath that because of this knowledge, because of this study, I think, you know, the whole thing was reinforced, this whole Mahavakyas about really believing that we are not the body, right? I'm not the body, and there's something bigger, there's something higher. So to answer your question just now, how and what do we do? I think it's exactly at moments like that, when you're pulled to your lowest, I think to allow that voice within to guide, you know, to guide how you're going to think, how you're going to deal with everything. And of course, we got to go with the motions of the physical, but, you know, deep down inside, I think it's the knowing that this is just temporary, it shall pass, you know, and keeping constantly focus on the larger self. Thank you for letting me share, sir. I just felt that that was an example that I could relate to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deepest feelings with you and the family. I knew about your mom. You did share. Very sorry for that. But your sister, having known her, I've met her. Please do convey our feelings and thoughts to her. I shall connect with you again later. And these are the moments, in fact, as you're right, you know, we will check how much are we mentally insured, you know, how much are we buffered, how much are we really protected from what the world puts us through, you know. And perhaps these are the moments that really test us, because these are the extreme losses, you know. Nothing great. The greatest loss is loss of your near and dear, and there's loss of name, there's loss of material wealth, there's loss of, you know, many things one experience in life, but nothing greater loss than loss of near and dear. And in fact, in the Gita, in the second chapter, he says, you reach a state where the greatest loss is no loss for you. You reach a state where the greatest gain is no gain for you. You reach that fullness, that paripurna. You know, imagine a person who is fond of pens, and somebody gives you an exotic pen or Mont Blanc. What is big excitement there? Greatest gain for a person who values a pen, it may be a great thing. For a person who values recognition and he gets a national award, or an international award. It may be a greatest thing for him. He says the greatest gain is no gain. It doesn't add anything to you because I'm already reached that infinite state of paripurna. And you take away something out of that fullness, I don't feel any void or emptiness within. So you reach that state of purnam or whole or completeness. And he refers that in the Gita to the mighty ocean. He says in the second chapter, I'm just trying to dig out the exact verse for you all. It comes, I think, in the 70th verse of chapter 2. Yeah, it's the 70th verse of chapter 2, where he says, Apuryamanam achala pratishtham samudramapa pravishanti yadvat tadvat kamayam pravishanti sarve sashantimapnoti na kamakami. He says, as the waters enters the ocean, which fills from all sides, remains undisturbed. Achalam pratishtham. Achalam pratishtham means it is achala, it remains undisturbed. Apuryamanam samudram apaha. Pravishanti. So the waters filled from all sides enter into the ocean, but what happens to the ocean? It remains undisturbed, he says. And the rest of the verse is a little deeper. I'll not get into it. But very, very right. And these are the moments that we do a quality control, a check, an inward check. But we should not wait until those moments arrive and test us. Then it's too late, isn't it? We should keep preparing for the eventualities of life. In fact, Vedanta is said to be a preparation to life. And no better preparation than Vedanta. It prepares you to every aspect of life because it is a study of life. And one who has imbibed this knowledge, one who has imbibed this wisdom, he's prepared to face all facets, to relate with all aspects of life, well prepared. So what is that quality which could help you? There may be more than one quality. I'm just trying to set the line of thought. What is that quality which will help you to inject the thought of Brahman through the course of your activities? What is that quality? Ashrama is telling privately, she messaged me, surrender. SR.
Is it awareness, Guruji, being presence in the mind, moment to moment, not get carried away?
Yeah, the opposite of getting carried away is you have a certain amount of awareness within you.
The moment we just crossing the limit, mean to say we have to create our own boundaries there on a situation too, where we are too much, we're getting engrossed with that emotions or activities. I said somewhere we need to bring in presence of mind that we should don't get carried away with all. So
now, if I were to ask you, when do you get? What is the opposite of getting carried away?
Because you lose the intellect. I mean to say your intellect is not active, but the buddhi is not in presence. So you're getting carried away with more of mind, emotions.
Okay.
That's where we need to, meant to say, hold on the emotions and bring in the intellect and not to get carried away. I think that's the junction where we need to keep applying. I keep doing that practice, Guruji. What I'm trying to say that whenever the situations, the small or big or wherever it may be, a small break has been applied before you get into the action. So that little actions will help us and make you to think. And again, but only thing is, we are able to hold on that, not to fall into the prey of those, but definitely not really setting higher. That moment we are not switching our focus toward that. We are, I think, very, very basic stages of understanding this philosophy.
No, it is not a question of how well you understand. It's how well you implement what you said. Is that you put a break, there is a pause, you are able to inject a certain amount of awareness, and you don't get carried away. As you said, it can be the most inconsequential moment in your life or something which really matters most to you. Doesn't matter. The question is, I should not be swept away by that. If I can sail through that, there's a chance. In fact, I would say, how can I sail through but not be swept away? You're nice, you captured it, but
Yes.
Well said, sir.
Thank you.
With that quality that you need to practice. Anybody? Some of them are saying acceptance and continued faith. Arunama is saying to accept and faith. Consistency. Sthita Prajna is only a state. In fact, the 70th verse of chapter 2, which describes the state of a man who has attained that complete wisdom, reaches a state of complete fullness. But we are talking of abhyasa. How do I, because that is a statement of practice. No? The statement of practice you and I got to do is, I am Atma Brahma. So this injection of the self in your worldly actions. So what is that quality you and I need to practice? So that, as Reddy Garu said, you don't get carried away. The quality you should constantly try to practice is to be a sakshi, is to learn to be a witness. It's a very, very, very powerful quality. So the opposite of it is to be swept away, is to be carried away, is to get involved. So the quality I need to practice is to be a witness to the proceedings where you are a part of that action. It's not that I'm witnessing. In fact, this quality of witnessing starts from you being a witness to the world around you. You witness others' actions, you witness the happenings externally, and then you move inward. You start witnessing your physical body, you start witnessing your own emotions, you start witnessing your own thoughts, and you start witnessing the Atman. So the quality of being a witness to an action gives you the opportunity of non-identifying with it and identifying with it elsewhere. Like a judge in a court, he's a pure witness, isn't it, Gayatri Ma? She keeps
Yes, Guruji. He will just listen to both the sides and be a just witness to it.
favorable or unfavorable, whatever pros and cons, he is just sitting there unconcerned, as it were. He doesn't, yeah, he's just a witness. But he is very much in the thick and thin of everything. He has to be, because he has to come to a rational conclusion. But he can come to that conclusion only when he is a witness, when he's objective. So the quality of being a witness is to be objective. It's not that you're devoid of emotions. It's just that you don't become a victim of your emotions. That's all it means. So that's the third abhyasa, which is the statement of practice. And the greater is your awareness, the more insulated you are from the happenings, the more detached you would be. I did not react to your comment, Amitama, when you said detachment. Detachment cannot be practiced. You can't practice detachment. Detachment is a state you reach. So don't try to put on an act of detachment. So, and then once you have done enough abhyasa, which is the statement of practice, comes a point in your life where you will experience the very truth, where you would assert aham brahmasmi, where you would say, I am that Brahman, which is a statement of your own personal experience, a pratyaksha. You have experienced it. So these are the four aphorisms which capture the journey of statement of fact to a statement of advice, a statement of practice, and statement of experience. And from, in fact, the entire Bhagavad Gita, it's staggering to know the entire Bhagavad Gita is an explanation of this aphorism, Tat Tvamasi. The first 6 chapters talk about Tvam. The middle 6 chapters talk of Tat. And the last 6 chapters talk of Asi. 18 chapters talking of these 3 words. So profound are these great aphorisms. 3 words, 18 chapters of chaste philosophy explaining it. So that which is supreme, it doesn't matter is supreme or not supreme. What matters is, are you asserting it? That's the point we are saying. That's abhyasa you and I got to do. So anything that comes and blocks a vision of the self, you say, neti, not this, not this. Don't block my vision of the self. Away with you. Shoo, go away. No, nothing to do with you. That kind of thought. You play by the rules, you play by the drama, you play by the roles. But while you're playing the role, you shoo away whenever the role comes and disturbs you. So if someone is addicted to food, you put him through fasting. If someone has weakness for talking, maunam. Just an example. So that is abhyasa. You got to inject that forced withdrawal. You got to withdraw from the world because this is blocking my vision of the self. Neti, not this. Not this, not this. And then he says, it is subtler than the subtle, sukshmat sukshmataram. It is very subtle. Means it's another way of putting it's all pervading. Now, subtlety of anything is measured by its pervasiveness. How do you measure a subtlety of an object? Is its pervasiveness. So he's saying Atman is subtler than the subtlest. So the body is the grossest and Atman is the subtlest in the order of superiority. Body has a certain pervasiveness. The pervasiveness of the body is limited to the shape and size of your physical body. If I'm sitting here, I'm here at the wisdom center. I'm not anywhere else. I'm not at home. I'm not at the institute. I'm not anywhere else. I'm here. So what is superior to the physical body? Superior to the physical body is mind. Because my body is here, but my mind can be at Haresh's place. Why Haresh's place? Because I have been to his place. I have been invited. I've gone to Hong Kong. I've visited him in Hong Kong. So I know his place. I know. So mind can go to Hong Kong. But I can't go to where Raviji is. Which part of US are you now, Raviji? I think you said Boston, are you?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can. Yes, yes.
Now I'm in San Francisco.
Okay. My intellect can't, my mind can't go to San Francisco, sir. You know why? Because I've not been to San Francisco.
Yes.
But my intellect can go to San Francisco. Do you know the difference?
Yes.
Can you clarify, please?
I think the traditional words are manas and buddhi.
Ama.
So manas cannot go, but buddhi can go because of its logical understanding.
Okay.
Based on what you have read, what you have heard, and based on learning, it can go.
Correct. So intellect is subtler than the mind because mind can go to areas only known and experienced. Intellect can visualize that unknown state and experience through known factors. It will gather information and visualize what San Francisco could be.
Yes.
So intellect goes to those realms of unknown. Therefore, intellect is superior to the mind.
Yes.
Therefore, intellect is more pervasive than the mind. Isn't it? Isn't it staggering? Yes. It's beautiful. We are able to relate to the intricacy of how it works. Is staggering. Wonderful, sir. So mind can go to areas known. Correct, Shivaji. The mind is nothing but a warehouse of memory, isn't it? If it's there, it's there. You know, if you don't have it in your memory, you can't go. You can't draw it. So, what is superior to the intellect? Harish, if I can ask you, what is, you heard the body, the mind, intellect, and what is superior to intellect?
Could it be our inherent nature, Guruji, our personality traits?
What would that be?
We are guided by our vasanas.
You're right. So the inherent vasanas are superior to the intellect. Now, how do you say the vasanas are superior to the intellect? again, we're talking of pervasiveness. Pervasiveness is the means or way to establish the subtlety. Can tell where vasanas pervade, where the intellect doesn't pervade. So the difference between this class and any other class you may attend, they're informing you of Vedanta. Here I'm teaching you Vedanta. That's the difference. When you are taught, you get into the subject. When you inform, you don't go into the subject, you just inform. You may say, sir, why should you ask me all these questions? Just mention Sukshmataram and move on. No. I can move on, but then I'm just informing you of what it is, but I'm not teaching you. When you're taught, it's a different road. Okay. Think along, Naresh.
Yes,
Ramji.
Hare Ram, sir.
Yes, sir.
I don't have the answer, sir. I think you're asking where the vasanas are existing, right? Or where they are housed.
I'm not asking where the vasanas are housed. I'm only asking vasanas are superior to the intellect.
Correct. Yeah.
And that we establish because we are observing it with reference to pervasiveness. The question is, where do vasanas pervade, where the intellect doesn't pervade?
I think they are the ones which actually, that's what we said, that is the vasanas actually determine your basic nature, which is which actually gives rise to the the thoughts you get in your through your intellect and mind. This is broadly what I remember from the old lessons, that vasanas are basically what you carry over and what you create fresh vasanas. So, but these are basically coming out of your basic nature, which is what you have carried forward.
Well, you have said everything about vasana except what I want, sir. Sir, I can see the third eye opening up, sir.
No, sir, that's not that.
Oh, it's not third eye. Oh, sorry.
No,
I was all the while wanting to know what's the third eye, you know.
No, I fell down and injured myself.
Oh, you. Thank sir. Have you been playing any serious sport?
No, sir, no. I slipped in the bathroom and fell down.
Oh, yo. I hope you have not hurt yourself.
No, I'm okay.
Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah.
Yes, looks like I didn't get what you wanted.
So this is because of the fall only you're not able to get the answers. Otherwise,
my mind and intellect have gone
little off track, sir.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It'll come back. Sir. No, sir. Okay, let's. I think Raviji wants to say something. I'll hear him and then we'll spell it out. Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes.
No, I just wanted to clarify. Vasanas are supposed to be the baggage which comes from our previous lives. So is it some kind of, it goes where intellect does not go because it carries the baggage from past lives. Is that why it happens?
Now, it's a good question, but if we understand the concept of death and birth, the transference of the causal body and the subtle body from one gross body to another is the death of the first and the birth of the later. So when the transference happen, it happens along with the subtle body. So the mind and intellect along with the vasanas gets transferred. It's not that the vasanas alone are brought forward and not the mind and intellect. So whatever mind and intellect you had in the previous birth, it is brought forward with a certain new bundle of vasanas. So that may not be the reason. If you say that it's only the vasanas carry forward, then you say vasanas exist in the previous birth and it exists this birth, so therefore it's more pervasive. But the mind and intellect also is carried forward. Okay, sir.
Okay.
Our Hariji will give the answer. Hariji.
It is during the deep sleep. The vasanas are in the unmanifest form, in the seed form, and there is no intellect, both the mind and intellect, because there are no thoughts. And once you wake up, again the vasanas comes into the manifest form, where you have got both vasana and intellect.
So the vasanas are there in deep sleep, whereas the intellect is not existing in deep sleep.
Yeah.
Therefore, the vasanas are more pervasive than the intellect.
Yeah.
Intellect exists in waking and dream.
Yes. Intellect, dream, I don't know, but mind is existing in the dream.
I doubt even in the waking state.
Okay.
Too much of an assumptions are here.
Yeah. Yes. But
You agree to that also, is it? Hariji is very cooperative today.
No, but I no, in the dream, I don't know whether the intellect is there, the mind is there. Am I correct in my understanding? In the dream, there is no intellect.
I am still caught up with the intellect is in the waking state only, sir. No, you are going one step ahead of me.
Okay, yeah, well, yeah, in vasanas and intellect are present during the waking state.
So in the waking state, what exists? The body,
the mind, and the intellect.
The intellect. The body, mind, intellect, the waking. In the dream state, what exists?
The mind. And though the physical body is there, but for the dreamer, it is the dream body.
Correct.
And
so the waker's body is not there, isn't it?
No.
So the mind alone is there in the dream.
Yeah.
No body.
No body. So
no
projection.
Intellect.
Yeah.
So the waker's intellect and all his knowledge is not available to the dreamer.
No.
No. And deep sleep, the vasanas are there.
Yeah, it is in the seed form, unmanifest form.
So the body, mind, intellect doesn't exist in the deep sleep, but the vasanas exist.
Yeah.
Now, what is subtler than the vasanas is the Atman.
It's the self.
Self. Why the self is the subtlest? Don't answer. I want to ask Shantima.
Hariom Guruji.
Yes, ma, Hariom. Solungo.
Because he's everywhere.
Where is, okay, tell me where vasanas don't exist, where Atman exists.
Vasanas doesn't exist in objects.
Huh? Vasanas don't exist in objects.
In whereas his Atman is exists.
You mean to say there is no life in the middle kingdom?
No life in the innate matters.
Hmm. Hariji, please clarify this, Hariji. I'm a little lost. I need technical help, sir. Shantima has clean bowled me.
I think she meant Chetana and Achetana. When there is Achetana Vastu, then there is no Vasana. Only in Chetana there is Vasanas. Whereas Atman being all pervading, it pervades both Chetana and Achetana.
Please use words where everybody can understand, no?
Chetana.
What does Chetana mean?
Living and non-living. The
Ah.
rock, if you take a rock, it exists.
That's what she's saying. In inert objects, vasanas don't exist. She's saying, is it true
Yeah.
that vasanas doesn't exist in inert matter?
Yeah, I think yes.
Hmm?
In inert matter, there is no vasana. In a dead body, there is no vasana, whereas in a living body, there is vasana. And both dead body and living body is provided by Atma.
Hmm. Okay.
Where even to that extent, even in a plant or a tree, animals, there is some vasana. May not be as predominant as in human being.
Okay. So we'll conclude that there are no vasanas in inert matter. Okay. Where else vasanas don't exist? Where the Atman exists? Yes, Raviji?
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes,
In the Turiya state,
correct. The Turiya, what is Turiya?
beyond the three states, beyond Sushupti.
Beyond the three states, beyond the three is the Swapna, Jagrata, Sushupti. The three states comes the Turiya, the fourth state. So in that fourth state, there are no vasanas, but Atman exists. Correct. So you can safely say that Atman exists in the fourth state. So Atman is there in the inert objects, is there in the body, is there in the mind, is there in the intellect, is there in the waking, dream, deep sleep, and beyond that. It is there in the experiences beyond the waking, dream, deep sleep. Therefore, we say Atman is all pervading. Okay, right, sir. Ha, Shivaji, boliye.
Hariom, sir, can we say that even in inert objects, the quality of that object is the vasanas that carry? Now, say stone. Stone has got a certain quality. Iron, it has got a quality. Can't we say that as the vasana that it carries? Otherwise, what attributes that particular quality to that particular inert object? And it varies between one inert object to the other object, but it exists. That is its particular vasana. Vasana of the stone is to break. Vasana of the iron is to bend, and it can be designed the way we want.
So it is the characteristic.
The quality that it's my, probably I could be wrong. I just wanted.
No, it's an important discussion. Glad you brought it up. Lakshmi Ma is saying the guna. What is the difference between guna
And quality.
Same, no, it's the quality of the guna. Where do these qualities of guna come from? So, yes, Hariji, clarify, please.
Vasanas has to be manifested in the form of action. It has to. Then only it can get. At the end of the day, the vasana has to be exhausted.
It manifests the action. Stone has got an action. It is strong, but you can still break it. It exhibits. There's no doubt. It exhibits its vasanas without any doubt.
How will it get exhausted?
Look, exhausting is, I think it's our own.
No.
It's a thing of the mind.
No. What is mind? You have to exhaust your vasanas, whether you want it or not. Otherwise, you will keep on taking birth and death and birth and death and birth and death. At the end of the day, you
Hariji,
have to.
I think what Shivaji is saying is vasanas have to be exhausted with your own mind, means with your own effort. You have to put an effort for exhaustion of vasana.
Inert object, a dead body cannot put any effort to exhaust its vasana.
Now, how did the body get formed?
Pancha, all the 5 elements.
No, don't bring elements, Shivaji, here. Isn't the body a grossification of your own vasana?
Yeah, sure.
A person has got an unhealthy vasana, he's got unhealthy body. A healthy vasana got a healthy body.
Yeah.
So the grossification of vasana is action, is the body. So in the same sense, what Shivaji is saying is vasanas are there even in the inert matter. Is it not right to say that? Whether they exhaust it or not, it has a certain particular characteristics, a quality. A point to ponder.
How will that vasana get exhausted? Okay, I understand to that extent that it has a vasana, so it has taken a certain shape with certain characteristics. How will that vasana will get exhausted?
So even the mineral kingdom perishes after a certain stage, isn't it? Mineral kingdom also goes through transformation.
No, in that way, the entire universe will have to get vanished during Pralaya time.
No, that is absolute level. But even at a if you leave an object there for 200 years or 500 years, it changes its characteristics, it changes its form. The atoms and molecules also go through change, isn't it? There is that kind of micro manifestation of life in the mineral kingdom. There's a micro manifestation, isn't it? It goes through disintegration, it goes through change. So in that sense, it gets destroyed, it gets transformed. So to that extent, there is an exhibition of life in even in a mineral kingdom. We can safely extend it. When Shantima said superficially there are no vasanas, you can say so. But when you closely examine it and classify it, you can say it has a certain characteristics.
It requires a little more reflection and thinking.
Yeah, we all. Yeah, we can come back. We can come back.
In the next class, we'll go through some more literature and study, and then come back. Yes, it requires.
Yes, okay. Yes, Gayatri Ma.
Guruji, I wanted to tell about that stone, what the example we took. That also over the years, it goes like either by wind, water, or anything. It gets eroded sometime or the other. And second question which arose in me was, supposing we manufacture something, watch or anything, it is there for quite a long time, but even that iron and other space, everything gets rusted after a few years. May not be immediately, but it takes its own time to get rusted and lose its properties.
Yes. Yeah. This is where we were trying to establish. We can superficially say that there has no vasana, but we can't say so. In reality, it has a certain characteristics. Just because it doesn't manifest. That's, I think I can't recall who said that. He says, life sleeps in plants, in wake, dreams an animal, and wakes in a man, he says. So the real expression of life is when it manifests fully. So just because it doesn't manifest, we can't dismiss it that there are no vasanas, because it has its own unique characteristics or qualities. Shantima. So it has a certain characteristics or qualities. But to be very safe, where there are no vasanas, is the turiya, the fourth state, which is described as a state of vasana-lessness, where there are no vasanas at all. All vasanas are burnt and exhausted. So it is subtler than the subtle. Again, we have described it with reference to pervasiveness. Mind superior to the body, intellect superior to the mind and the body, vasana superior to the intellect, mind and the body. Atman is superior to the vasanas, intellect, mind and body. This is the order of superiority. Eternal, nityam. The text says sukshmat sukshmataram nityam. That which is eternal means of this permanent. Permanency vis-a-vis anything is temporal. This is permanent. And then you keep asserting that supreme Brahman, I am that which supports the universe. I am subtler than the subtle. I am eternal. So, tattvam evam tattvam eva tat. I am that. I am that. So go back to that essential learnings from today's satsang is to remain objective or witness to the happenings. Right after this, you will get sucked into the world with the various activities. Try to maintain a sense of objectivity of witness. You don't get carried away. And that gives you an opportunity to negate it and see something beyond it. Otherwise, you will be swept away. Okay. So this mantra talks of the abhyasa. And the 19th mantra, not at the 20th. The 20th mantra talks of the Anubhava Vakya, where he actually has experienced it. So with the Mahavakyas in mind, you'll know how the text evolves, where he asserts and says, I am that Brahman. If you read the 20th mantra where he says, I am subtler than the subtle. Can we show that, Gayatri Ma, for a moment? The 20th mantra. See the language. He says, I am subtler than the subtle. Even so, I am great. I am the manifold universe. I am ancient. I am the supreme. I am the Lord. I am auspiciousness. So the very same context of subtler than the subtle in the 16th mantra. Show 16th mantra. In the 16th mantra, he just mentions subtler than the subtle. As a matter of information, he says that. In the 20th mantra, he says, I am subtler than the subtle. That grammatical construction is the switch between abhyasa and anubhava. Staggering. This is the style of the Shastras. You must have the acumen. You must have the capacity to read between these seamless grammatical introduction to convey the deeper meaning. It's staggering. If you are able to attune to the spirit of the text, it's staggering. The same words, the slightly different grammatical is anubhava, slightly different grammatical is abhyasa. It's beautiful. So the whole objective is you start attuning to the text, you know. Okay. Please reflect and come back, and we'll take a mantra 17 when we come back. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purna Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.